I am proud that we have reached this milestone today. When the province and the city work together, we can benefit both the people of Toronto and the people who visit our city for work or leisure. A strong Toronto means a strong Ontario and a strong Canada. I am so fortunate to have Premier Ford today, the ministers, all of them, and everyone that have represented City of Toronto well. And let us now hear from Minister of Transportation, Minister Sarkaria. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and it's great to be here today in Toronto alongside Premier Ford and Mayor Chow and all of my colleagues with some exciting news for drivers who are tired of being stuck in gridlock. Under the leadership of Premier Ford, our government is making historic investments across our highway network to slash travel times across the province. We're investing over $30 billion to build, repair, expand highways, roads, and bridges. Just recently, we reached a major milestone with the start of major construction on the Bradford Bypass, a long-awaited project that will fight gridlock, cut travel times by up to 35 minutes, and keep people and goods moving for Ontario's economy for people of the York Region and Simcoe County. We are building Highway 413, another critical corridor that will cut commute times by 30 minutes each way, create thousands of good-paying jobs, and strengthen the movement of people and goods across the Greater Toronto Area. We're protecting Ontario by investing in infrastructure that supports a stronger and more resilient economy. Supporting commuters with our One Fare program that continues to make transit more affordable and convenient, saving transit users $1,600 a year. Our GO expansion plan is well underway. Earlier this year, we announced another $1.3 billion investment to operate and maintain GO Transit and Up Express, supporting more than 1,100 good-paying jobs across the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area. This ensures safe and reliable service for over 120,000 daily transit riders on our GO network. GO Transit ridership continues to grow as we expand service and deliver faster, more frequent connections, reflecting strong and increasing demand across the region. This is part of our broader plan to modernize the network and keep people moving. Today, we're marking another milestone in our work to reduce gridlock in Toronto. I know firsthand the reality of daily commute from Brampton into Queen's Park and the congestion faced by drivers every single day. Today's announcement is a step forward to deliver faster, more reliable travel for families, workers, and commuters. We are keeping people and goods moving and our economy growing to protect Ontario. With that said, I will now turn it over to Premier Ford. Thank you.
Job. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Minister Sarkaria, for that introduction. It's great to be here with you alongside Ministers Thanigasalam, Chow, PAs Cooper, Babikian, and Smith, Mayor Chow, and so many other industry leaders helping us build Ontario. Our government was elected with a mandate to protect Ontario, and we're delivering on our plan. We're protecting Ontario from economic uncertainty driven by tariffs and protectionism. While we may not be able to control President Trump, we are controlling the decisions we make here in Ontario by building the most competitive, resilient, self-reliant economy in the G7. We're cutting red tape, keeping taxes and fees low, saving businesses and families $12 billion each and every single year. Since 2018, we've increased revenue by $71 billion, all without ever raising a tax. And we will never raise taxes. And we're investing in our workers through our $236 billion plan to build, which is the largest infrastructure plan of its kind in Canadian history. We're building hospitals, schools, highways, and transit to connect communities, create jobs, and grow our economy. Because with a strong economy, we can invest even more in world-class services like healthcare and education that Ontario families are counting on. We all know gridlock is costing our province more than $56 billion each year and could reach $145 billion in the next 20 years if we don't act now. Too many Ontario commuters are wasting countless hours stuck in traffic instead of spending time doing what they love. That's why our government is investing in the largest transit expansion in public service and transit expansion in North America. People are already riding the Finch West LRT and the Eglinton Crosstown. And we're building the Eglinton Crosstown West Extension, the Scarborough Subway Extension, the Yonge North Subway Extension, the new Waterfront East Transit Line, the Hazel McCallion Line in Peel, and the Hamilton LRT, and the 15.6-kilometer Ontario Line, with the first new subway tunnels in more than 60 years now being dug under downtown Toronto. We're also tackling gridlock by building major new highway projects that will save drivers hours on their commutes. Early work has already begun on Highway 413. Major construction has started on the Bradford Bypass, and work is also getting underway to build the Highway 401 tunnel. When it comes to keeping drivers and goods out of gridlock and moving in downtown Toronto, there are no roadways more central than the Don Valley, the Don Valley parking lot. It pretty well is the Don Valley parking lot. Don Valley Parkway and the Gardiner Expressway, which handles nearly 300,000 drivers a day. That is why we invested $73 million to speed up construction on the Gardiner Expressway, leading to its completion a full 18 months ahead of schedule. Recognizing how vital these two roadways are and the urgent need to keep drivers moving, I'm thrilled to announce today, as part of our new deal our government reached with the City of Toronto, Ontario will officially be taking ownership of the Don Valley Parkway and the Gardiner Expressway in the fall of 2027. Until then, we'll be providing up to $353 million to the City of Toronto to ensure it can continue operating and maintaining these critical roadways before the transfer is complete. By taking ownership of these two highways, we're helping important reconstruction work happen without delay, so we can preserve both highways for future generations. We're also freeing up billions of dollars over the long term that the City of Toronto can invest in other municipal services like housing, enabling infrastructure, transit, public safety, and local roads. And of course, thanks to our ban on new road tolls, we are guaranteeing that the Gardiner Expressway and the Don Valley Parkway will remain permanently toll-free, so we can keep putting more money back into the pockets of hardworking Ontario families. In other words, our government will never toll highways, and we will never tear them down. I want to thank Mayor Chow for her partnership and leadership in helping land this great new deal. Our government will continue to invest in our $31 billion plan to build new roads, highways, and bridges in every community in Ontario so we can keep drivers moving and keep workers on the job. Thank you, and may God bless the people of Ontario.
We will now take questions from the media. Media present can form a line behind me and ask their questions through the microphone. As a friendly reminder, the format is one question and one follow-up. Please state your name and your outlet before your question.
Morning, Premier Richard Southern, 680 News Radio. Good. How are you, sir? I think you were pretty accurate when you called it a Don Valley parking lot.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that. And now that the province is uploading the DVP and the Gardiner, and you have the financial means to do more with them than the city, do you have any specific plans to alleviate the gridlock on these two expressways? And does it include, Premier, a tunnel under either of them?
Well, never rule out anything, Richard. Thanks for that question. What we're doing is taking the burden off the backs of taxpayers in the City of Toronto. I think this should have been done a long time ago, decades and decades ago. The province should have uploaded this to the province, but this takes a massive burden that they can reallocate those funds for other areas within the city. You know, I wish we had a provincial government when I was at City Hall that would do this, because it was costing us a fortune to maintain it every year. So part of our new deal, it's going to free up a lot of money for the mayor to do things that she sees that is needed right in the city of Toronto.
But is there anything specific you can do on the provincial side to alleviate the gridlock, Prabmeet? You said you're not ruling out a tunnel, right?
Yeah, we never rule it out, but what we are doing, we're building the largest transit system in North America. We're building the Ontario line, Yonge North extension, and we're doing the Scarborough extension as well. So we're the largest transit plan in North America that's going to take people off the road and into the subways.
Premier Mark McAllister from City News.
Hi, Mark.
When you first announced the New Deal some years ago, there was immediate talk thereafter about New Deal 2.0. And we still haven't heard anything. We've got a municipal election that we're leading towards. You're not sitting for the next 5 months or so. Has there been any discussion about what happens in the future beyond this?
Well, thanks for that, Mark. You know, there's never been in the history of Ontario and Canada a province that's uploading a lot of responsibility to the province. We're giving the city over $9 billion in a multitude of different areas. So let's get through this, and we'll always be there for the people of Toronto and the GTA, because, you know, it's not just Toronto we're helping. More commuters, as the mayor knows, come in from all over the GTA to come to work, and they ride the GO train or ride public transit. They're saving $1,600 on the one fare. So we're doing more than our fair share right now.
A question for the mayor, if possible. This morning, Mayor, this is for a colleague of mine. The CAA once again released their list of worst roads. Toronto has 4 of the top 10. Steeles is always on that list. You clearly have your notes prepared, so I'm going to let you.
Even need to look at it.
Yeah. So what is it exactly that the city is doing to help with maintenance of the roads? And I'm sure that's of interest to the Minister of Transportation and the province as well.
The city of Toronto this year have paved more potholes than ever, more than last year, a year before. But this winter has been brutal, and it's just wrecking our roads. I was just down in Irwin, which is terrible. It was repaved only month and a half ago, but the rain and the frost and freeze-frost, and yesterday when I was on it, it's back to really bad, not a very good shape. So it's almost every 2 months. I think that road, for example, we need to lay down concrete because of the industrial use in that area. So yes, we need a lot of funding to repave some of our old roads, and this new deal really assists. The new deal are able to fix old roads, bridges, sewers, public transit, tunnels, and tracks. All of it has been in terrible shape, and because of the new deal, it freed up $2 billion, and you will see improvements over time, and we are rapidly doing them.
Hi, Premier. Don't go too far, Mayor. I think you might want to respond to this one too. It's a question for the Premier to start, though. It's Jeff Gray from the Globe and Mail. I wanted to ask about the airport. So you've said it's a no-brainer to expand this thing.
Yes.
You've said the Prime Minister is supportive, but when we talk to Liberal MPs in Toronto, they treat this idea like a coyote in the backyard. They don't want to get too close to it. They certainly are not embracing it. I wouldn't say they're howling yet, Premier, but can you explain why, if it's such a great idea and their boss is on side, that Toronto Liberal MPs are not interested in talking about this and don't want to have a position on it?
You know, so first of all, thanks for the question, Jeff. That's strictly up to the Prime Minister to talk to his MPs. We're going to differ, the mayor and I, but I respect what she believes, and I believe that there's going to be thousands of jobs created over this expansion, but it's going to make the runway a lot safer, extending the runway from not one penny of taxpayers' money. There's an investment of over $5 billion to expand the airport, and it's going to be convenient, and it's going to benefit not just Toronto, the GTA, but people all over Ontario and all over Canada. And it'll be done responsibly. It'll be done with consultation with the city and the federal government and the Port Authority.
And Mayor Chow, maybe you could just, what do you make of the Liberal MP's caution around the airport idea?
It's up to them, but like them, I still have not seen a clear plan or any plan from the Toronto Port Authority as to what is it that they are trying to do. How long is the runway? What is the plan? What is the business plan? How are you going to reach 10 million passengers? How many flights is it going to take? How long is the runway? Who is going to pay for what? I've not seen any of the plans. So it's, I think I share some of the frustration that the local member of parliament are experiencing. What I do know is that we should not give land, and that would benefit American investors and Wall Street investors.
Hello, everyone. Mirna Jukic for Radio-Canada. About the New Deal, when it was announced, one of the conditions was for Toronto to meet or exceed its housing targets. Like many municipalities, it failed to do so last year. So do you consider they've broken the deal?
Not at all. You know, Mayor Chow is working so hard and cutting the red tape and getting permits out there as quickly as possible. It's a massive city, and I have all the confidence in the world that they're doing everything they can. And with the support of the federal and provincial governments cutting the HST, along with the development charges, we announced over $8.8 billion. We're making the dream of home ownership more available for the people of Ontario right across the board. So I know the mayor wants to build more than anyone. And I'm sure in this empty parking lot, maybe some residential towers will go up. But they're working hard at the City of Toronto. I'm very confident.
And about the municipal elections coming up, not too long ago, you expressed your support for Caroline Parrish, mentioned sending an army down there to stop Bonnie Crombie from getting reelected. Now the House is not, or the Assembly is not sitting until after the election, not to interfere. So kind of mixed messages here. How much do you plan to get involved in the municipal elections, and what do you expect from your MPPs in that regard?
Well, the MPPs can go out there and support whoever they want. I'm just not personally getting involved. The question back to the Mississauga, I can just tell you it's night and day dealing with Mayor Parrish opposed to Mayor Crombie. There was 0 homes built. They had the lowest starts in all of Canada per capita. And Mayor Parrish is total opposite. She's building thousands and thousands of homes. She's being fiscally responsible. She's a great mayor, and she needs to continue moving forward. And we're going to build transit, the Hazel McCallion line. We're building the loop. We're pouring money into Mississauga and the GTA. And I just wish them all the best. Let the people decide who's going to be the mayor, be it Toronto or Mississauga or any other city. I'm confident that the mayors we have are doing a great job. And like I say, I'll work with anyone. So we'll see what happens after the municipal election. I got to apologize for squinting. This sun is just blaring into my eyes right now. And maybe one of the media with those cool shades will loan me their glasses or something.
Premier, I'd be happy to lend you my hat, but the shades are prescription. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my head's too big to fit in a...
We're fellow Charlie Brown heads, I think. Actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Jack Howan from the Trillium, if that wasn't obvious. Premier, we've received a cache of leaked documents from Metrolinx that show that the only body investigating the agency when GO trains speed, run through stop signals, and commit other serious safety violations is Metrolinx. The Transportation Safety Board, the federal agency, has said that more oversight is needed in Ontario. Do you agree with them?
Well, I think Metrolinx is doing a fine job. And when anything happens, if they're going through, the red lights per se, if you want to call it that, we take that very seriously. And there's going to be an investigation. We're always there to improve, continuous improvement. But folks, let's put this into perspective. I feel we have the safest rail system in North America, considering the tens of thousands of kilometers that GO train travels all over Ontario. So we always want to make sure we have the safest transit line anywhere in the world, and that's being investigated. And believe me, I know Michael Lindsay, he has zero tolerance for this. That guy is absolutely amazing. He won't put up with any safety issues for a second. I know he's going to correct it, and we're going to do continuous improvement to make sure it's the safest transit line in North America, which I believe it is, considering all the thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of kilometers they travel yearly.
This next one's for Minister Sarkaria.
Yeah.
Hi, Minister. Experts say that many of these incidents could have been avoided in the first place if Metrolinx had been using enhanced train control systems that are standard in many other jurisdictions across the world. I know Metrolinx has a plan to implement the European system, but it didn't give a timeline when I asked. Do you know the internal timeline, if there is one, and do you think that this is something that Metrolinx should be speeding up?
Well, from not only a signaling perspective, but overall infrastructure upgrades that are happening at Metrolinx, this government has put over $70 billion into that organization and the improvement of public transit across the province. We are working very closely with Michael Lindsay in making sure that we're adopting the latest innovation and technology that goes into our train systems, that go into our signaling systems, thereby making it even safer. I can say that we are one of the safest rail operators in all of North America. Over 120,000 people every single day use GO Transit on average, 76 million just last year, which was a record. And we take safety very seriously. And anytime there has been an infraction or a violation of any sort on a safety perspective, we hold individuals accountable, including individuals being fired for that. So from our team at Metrolinx, that is taken very, very seriously. The investments that continue to go into the system, that continue to make it even safer, will continue to happen because the Premier and this government have given Metrolinx the mandate and the dollars to make sure that can move forward as well.
Hi, good morning, Ben Cohen, Toronto Star. Premier, even with the Gardiner upload freeing up more city funds, the city's repair backlog is still growing. It's projected to hit about $25 billion by 2035. Are you considering taking any other expenses off the city's plate to help out in the next New Deal?
Well, I think $9 billion is quite a few dollars, and they'll be able to reallocate that to infrastructure. But that faces every city. Even when I was down at City Hall with Rob, we had a big infrastructure backlog, but we're going to chip away at that. We're going to support the city any way we can, like we do with all other cities across Ontario and municipalities. We're pouring money into infrastructure, $236 billion, in making sure that we're building the roads and the bridges and the highways, and we're going to continue doing that.
The city's budget chief and CFO has said probably the most significant thing the province could do for the city financially is to give it a portion of the sales and income taxes it collects. Is that something you would ever consider doing?
No, we again just gave the biggest check ever in the history of Canada to a municipality, the City of Toronto. And we did it because they're great partners. They play a massive role in our overall GDP. About 50% of the GDP comes from the City of Toronto. And I think we treat them very, very well, extremely well, actually. I don't remember ever getting a penny from the province when I was down at City Hall. It was pretty staggering, actually. Nothing.
Hi, Premier. Alison Jones with the Canadian Press.
Hi, Alison.
It's been about a year and a half-ish since your cabinet was sworn in. You've got a hole to fill now in Treasury Board. House just rose for the summer and then some. Lots of time for new ministers, possibly to get up to speed on new files. I'm wondering if you can tell us if you're thinking about a small cabinet shuffle or a big cabinet shuffle.
Well, stay tuned. Right now, I think all the ministers are doing a great job. Their parliamentary assistants are fabulous. I'm blessed to have the best caucus I could ever remember in over 35 years of being in this business. So I'm blessed, and let's see what happens in the near future.
Hi, Premier Alyssa Mendez for the Canadian Press.
Yes.
Now that the province has taken over the city's stake in Billy Bishop,
Yes.
do you have any plans for the rest of the island?
No, I love the island. I think you just leave it alone the way it is. It's beautiful. And we'll see the plan when the Port Authority comes out with it. It's $5 billion investment that's going to create thousands of jobs, convenience for people, not just here in Toronto, GTA and Ontario and across the country. So we're excited to move forward, and we're excited to see the plan ourselves. And then once the plan is produced by the Port Authority, we sit down with the city, we sit down with the federal government and ourselves, a tri-party agreement, and we review it. But I think it's a great plan.
Hi, Premier Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Hi, Siobhan.
When the province takes over the Gardiner and the DVP, are the days of having charity runs and bike rides on those expressways going to continue?
I think so. I don't see a problem with that. I think it's great because it all goes to charitable organizations. So I think it's great. If it happens a few times a year on a Sunday or whatever, so be it. I think that's great because it raises millions and millions of dollars for worthy causes. So you just won't see me jogging. I'll have a defibrillator on my back. I'll be getting a grabber in about 10 seconds. So, but outside of that, I might hop on the back of the bike with a mare.
Earlier this morning, you announced a crackdown on World Cup tickets that are being sold beyond the new rules that your government introduced.
Yes.
Why did this step take so long, considering the bill was passed weeks ago?
Well, I think we didn't take long at all. We're moving like greased lightning. We're the only jurisdiction in Canada that's doing this. We want the average person to be able to go to venues, sports venues, concerts, without getting gouged. And I don't have to tell all of you and the listeners about getting gouged for tickets. Some of these resellers are gouging the people 10, 20 times the cost of a ticket. And this is such a great thing for the people of Ontario, that they can actually go to an affordable concert, an affordable sports venue. This is a massive win for the people of Ontario. So we're moving extremely fast on this. And we're going to hold people accountable. We'll increase the fines, I think, up to $25,000. We're making the list public for people that want to try to take advantage of the taxpayers. We're here to protect the taxpayers. They're there to make a profit. I have no problem with companies making a profit. I have a problem with monopolies and gouging the average citizen that can't bring their kids to a game. It's unfortunate. It's got to this point because, you know, no other cities in North America, the people, nowhere else do they get gouged like they do in the city of Toronto.
Good morning, Premier. Colin DeMello from Global News.
Hi,
your expense disclosures show that in 2025, your office spent about $140,000 taking private charter flights to at least 5 destinations.
Yeah.
One of those destinations was Ottawa. Premier, why was it important for you to fly private, a charter plane from Toronto to Ottawa?
Well, let's talk about that. That's, I guess, the best investment if I'm going on 5 trips. And one example was Texas. Folks, I went down to Texas. We hit 3 cities. 13 appointments with Fortune 500 companies, walked away with a minimum of $6 billion of investment, and I couldn't hit 3 cities in Texas and 13 appointments if I didn't charter, and I'm going to continue to charter when needed. Let's just remind the public, there's no premier in the history of this province taken more commercial flights than I have. I'll give you one example. I went to Ottawa last week. Everyone knows it's 45 minutes there, maybe an hour back. By the time you leave, you wait in line, spend about 7 hours your whole day. If you think that's productive as a leader of the 19th largest economy in the entire world, $1.3 trillion, if you think that's sufficient, well, we're going to disagree. We got to stop treating Ontario like a banana republic, because that's what it's being treated like. We have to keep up with the rest of the country, but keep up with the U.S. who we're competing against, and we have to get down there and promote Ontario, and that's exactly what we're going to continue doing.
Does your government have any plans now or in the future to purchase another private jet for the government's use?
Well, no, I have no plans outside of the OPP, outside of Orange, which are absolutely critical. But again, folks, we're larger than France and Spain, and you want to be frank. When I tell my colleagues south of the border, and even other colleagues in Canada, they think it's a joke. I'll be very frank with you. Again, we're a massive province, 1,070,000 square kilometers. Until you fly it, you never ever understand how large Ontario is. But we're going to continue traveling around. I'm heading over to Utah, heading down to South Carolina, heading over to PEI, going down to Washington next week, heading over to Alberta, all about promoting Ontario, creating more jobs, foreign investment, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
This will be the last reporter.
Hi, Premier Lorenda Redikoff from CBC
Lorenda.
News. Hey, on that FIFA ticket crackdown,
Yep.
will you be open to fining FIFA itself for breaking the rules?
No, they aren't jacking up the prices. It's the resellers that are jacking up the prices. So we have to look at companies like the StubHubs of the world. I hate picking one out because there's many of them, and making sure that they give an opportunity for the average family to go to a game.
I'm told that they actually are breaking the rules.
Oh, well, if they're breaking the rules, then they're going to hear from us. It's as simple as that. If they're jacking up the prices more than what the face value is, they can dictate the cost of the game. I have no problem with that. So if one game is more important than the other and they put up the prices, that's the market. But if they have a ticket face value on the ticket and they're selling it for a lot more, then they're going to hear from us. They aren't exempt.
And yesterday, your finance minister talked about offering flexibility when it comes to working from home during FIFA. Given that some of the public service jobs are dependent on the work of the legislature being in session, it's going to be 5 months that MPPs won't be there. So will there be flexibility during this 5-month period as well?
Well, that's up to the Ontario Public Service to determine that. What I know is we're out traveling all around the province. There's some misnomer that if you aren't down there, fighting with the opposition and waste of time for 3 hours or 4 hours a day, you aren't working. Let me assure the public very clearly. I'll speak for myself. I start at 6 a.m. I don't get home till midnight. I return thousands and thousands of calls. We're making announcements. We're moving the province forward. We're seeing investments. We're making sure that the backbone of our economy, the nuclear sector, is growing. We're building the largest nuclear facility in the world, plus Bruce C. We're adding on to that. We're leading the G7 in the small modular reactors. We're getting roads built to the Ring of Fire. We're building highways, bridges, and roads all over the province. We're building the largest transit system in North America. We're creating jobs. Unlike any jurisdiction in April, and I'm not saying we're out of the woods, folks. There's a lot of uncertainty. I'm going to emphasize that. It's a roller coaster. You're up one time in jobs, and you go down, and you're up. But the great news is, last in April, when the job numbers came out, we led North America, 42,400 jobs. As the rest of the country lost 18,000 jobs, credit ratings were dropping for provinces, and they were increasing taxes or cutting services, not here in Ontario. We beat the Americans per capita at 350 million people. They created 115,000 jobs. We beat them by 680%, leading North America because we've been tilling the soil, working with municipalities, working with the federal government to make sure we have an economy that can sustain the hits that were taken from President Trump. President Trump's back on his high horse, saying we're going to be a 51st state. I can tell President Trump that will never, ever happen. We will always be a proud, sovereign country, and I'm going to fight every single day to make sure that happens. So we're moving, we're working our backs off. We're never going to stop working for the people of Ontario. And it's no different from the mayor and all mayors around the city. So when they take that break while they're going in the election, I can guarantee you the mayor has 10, 15 meetings all day, going to events. Work does not stop, folks. We're having committees all over the province. We're going to have ministerial orders. We're moving the province forward. We never stop working. We have a work ethic second to none. And I'm communicating with our team. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a minister after 11 o'clock last night. No, I'm sorry. It was closer to 12 o'clock last night. So we're workers. We're always workers. And we're building this province, the likes of which this country has never seen before, ever.
That concludes our press conference.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Enjoy the beautiful weather. And together, with collaboration with the mayor, we're going to have the city to continue to boom. So thank you, Mayor, for your partnership. And that goes likewise to all mayors right across the province. We look forward to seeing you in a town very soon. Take care and God bless.